We're looking for dedicated individuals with interest in hosting, co-hosting, conducting interviews, production assistance, and even participating in our up-and-coming drama series. Don't sit on the couch. Contact us at info@cmpradio.net or our Facebook page at cmpradio.net. Cultivate Mature Positivity. It's the station.
cmpradio.net. It's the station. Listen, man, let's cultivate together. Bring us all your show ideas. Content creators, we're looking for that. Videographers, we're looking for that. You can be a part of the next great big thing that takes place right here in Chester, Pennsylvania. Let's cultivate together, man. What's going on, everybody, man? It's your boy, Uncle P, man, and I'm here live from the Cultivate Mature Positivity Studios. I have a special guest, man. This is a man, to me, and I've been watching for a long time. You know how I like to watch from the outside and to make sure, that people are who they say they are and that their mission is true, right? And I've been watching what he's doing. I grew up on the east side, 24th Street. I'm going to say the whole city. I grew up on the whole city, but I hung out on the east side. I hung out with some friends, 24th Street, 21st Street, 20th Street. And I watched, I want to say about 2 to 3 years ago when the neighborhood started to transition and people were moving in. I'm like, what are they doing? Like, they buying up the houses and different things like that. I have the man, right, that has been helping others through things that he thought were almost impossible to get through. He's going to talk about where he was 14 years ago, right, where he is today, and what he plans on doing for the foreseeable future. I have Mr. John Clifford.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for having me.
No problem at all, man. No problem at all. This is what this is about, right? Communicating and talking, and we're gonna have a nice little session, man. We're gonna talk about everything, right? Where you were 14 years ago, what you're doing now, why you feel as though you're a servant, an influencer, a speaker, and a pastor. That's on your Facebook page. And what do those 4 titles mean to you? We're going to ask those questions. And I just want everybody to share this live. I want everybody to get out there and try to figure out what's so important about what he's talking about. How you feeling, John?
Man, I feel great. Just hearing you say those things about me was literally bringing tingles to me. Because you were talking about 14 years ago. I had the privilege of just celebrating 14 years of being clean and sober. And to think on March 6th, 2007, I was still locked up in a jail cell, nowhere to go, no home to go to, a life that was completely destroyed. And in my mind, I was just going to die, a convicted felon, a drug addict, somebody that destroyed everybody else's life. That's the way I lived for years.
Wow.
And to me, there was no getting out of it. There was no hope whatsoever. So I think about that a lot when I pray and I get on my knees and I give glory to God. It brings me back to that spot of being in a jail cell with 2, sometimes 3 people, nowhere else to go. I tried to leave. I asked if they would let me go, and they said no. That was my lifestyle. I just thought I was going to live and die that way.
Right. So you're in a jail cell, right? And when did you hear? Because a lot of people say, I heard God, right? For the first time, I was in a clear space where I actually heard him saying something to me. Can you recall that moment?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was raised with the knowledge of God. My dad, I think my dad was going to be a priest at some point, and we would clean the church, once a week. We were that family that went in, and I had a knowledge of God, and I thought I knew him, but my relationship with him was basically anytime I needed to be bailed out of something, that's when I cried out to God.
I think we all do that, right?
Yeah, and listen, this wasn't my first time in prison. I've been in prison multiple times, in and out. But this last time, there was something different. When I woke up that morning, and I'm stuck in jail, I lost custody of my daughter, who was like 6 months old at the time. I lost where I was living. I had a pretty good job that I lost. I lost everything right away. And that first 2 weeks in prison, I had a chance just to watch people, like you were saying. And everybody's there. There was just one guy, and his name's Jared. I actually met him for the first time after 13 years, but he literally looked like Donovan McNabb. Okay. Like, you know, a built sports player. And I watched him, and this guy was happy, and he had peace. And I wanted to know why. How could this guy be happy when my whole life was falling apart, and I'm getting in fights, and I lost everything, and it's the worst time anybody could have. But this one guy was happy, and he had peace. And I saw him. He didn't get in fights. He was getting into Bible studies. And I went over one day to ask him why he was so happy, because he was weird, you know? Right. And he told me he was praying for me. He didn't know me. Right. He never met me before. Right. But he said he was praying for me every single day, and I was shocked. Wow. And right then and there, he shared the saving message that changed my life, that Jesus Christ took my penalty for sin upon himself. Right. And that's the moment that I gave my life to Jesus in a jail cell. And the next 3 months, he had me in the Word every single day. And all I knew is I didn't want to be a junkie and a criminal anymore. But I didn't know what to do from there. That's all I knew.
And junkie and criminal is how you described yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a label that yes, I would describe myself, because that's what society said that I was. Right. I remember getting locked up one time in Philly, and the police officers, I still have numbness in my hand today from being...
Right. The cuffs so tight.
Yeah, so and they wouldn't even... I asked them, right. You know, they wouldn't take them off. And all they called me was junkie and loser, and right. You can imagine all the words that came out of their mouth. And they told me who I was. And to me, that's who I was. Right. That's who I was always going to be. And I remember I overdosed and died 3 times when I was out on the streets. Wow. And it seemed like the people that had hope for me were the doctors and the nurses and the people that were there to rescue me. Right. Not the people that were there to bust me. It was the people that were there to come and rescue me. Right. But this one guy, Jared, loved me more than anybody ever loved me, and he didn't even know me. How is that possible?
It's not impossible to find hope in a place where there's no hope, right? Yeah. To find strength in a place where there are weak people around you. And like I said, I've been watching you, and I've been listening to a couple of your sermons, and I'm like, yo, he's on point, right? He's not fake, right? And you know, I'm quick to say I don't like to use the radio station to promote fakeness in the community, because I feel like when you're fake, you're after money. When you're real, right, you're doing it from your pockets every day. You're pushing this out, and that's how this radio station operates, through me. So, you know, how do you see yourself in this community, right? Because you're helping a lot of people.
Yeah, well, so I would say this. I never woke up one day and say, hey, I want to go and do this. Right. It was my same situation. I felt the calling was for me to help other people coming out of my same situation, because it's what my mentors and leaders did for me. I didn't invent anything new. Right. When I got released from prison, somebody said, hey, you should go to Chester. And I got to be honest, I laughed out loud. I said, what good can Chester do for me? Right. To be honest, I'm in prison. Like, drop me off in the middle of the ocean. Like, right. Just get rid of me.
Just get rid of me, right?
Yeah. But see, I was born in the city, but I was raised outside in Morton. Okay. And when I was doing drugs, it was between here and Kensington and West Philly. These are the places I only came to do dirt. Right? So to me, there was nothing that was going to build me up. And being in prison was the first place I've ever actually tasted freedom. Nobody talks about that, right? Nobody. It's the first place I've actually tasted freedom. There was nothing in my control anymore. I couldn't do anything. I had to give it all up to the Lord. So when I got released, I met a bunch of men that trained me to be a man again. Right. They mentored me. They came down and visited with me weekly. They would show up on Saturdays and teach me how to things like integrity and character. Right. And I was so grateful. I remember sharing with Charles Knuckles, who's a man that's from Chester. He's retired now, lives in North Carolina. Charles, I love you, man. He was the first person that gave me a shot to lead a Bible study because he was leaving. I remember saying, Charles, man, I'm so grateful. What can I do? He goes, John, you don't owe me anything. Just do this with the next person.
That's it.
reach back. He could say, he said, a candle loses nothing lighting another candle.
Nothing.
You just gain.
Right.
And to me, that's where it was at. What if I could use my life just to help the next person?
Absolutely.
And do it where I was at? And you know where I was at? I was living at a rescue mission for the homeless in Chester.
Right.
That's where I live.
Right.
And so I just wanted to help the guys coming in out of the shelter.
This was City Team, right?
City Team.
Right.
I love them. My life got saved there.
Right.
I had the privilege to come on staff as an intern and then work there for 10 years.
Wow.
Sewing and giving back into the community.
Absolutely.
So to me, when you ask the question about the community, this is where I've been since 2000. This is where God placed me. This is the vision that He gave me, and this has been my home. Like I have nowhere else to go. I know we can do more together than we can apart.
Absolutely.
And the Word of God taught me to dream, and the people around me taught me to push harder and further than I ever possibly could. What I learned about the Word is the people that Jesus sowed into were leftovers and forgottens and kind of people that wouldn't amount for anything. Right. And it taught me that I can take someone like me who has little goals and dreams and visions and say, no, we can do something much greater.
Something great. Something. I don't even know what and I say it all the time at the station. Yes, I have the idea, I have the vision, but I need direction, right? I need people that have done this before or been close to it before and say, no, Pete, maybe you should go over there. I'm gonna go over there. I'm a worker. I'm gonna go. Right. I'm gonna figure it out.
Right.
So, with everything, I can only do but so much. I need other people to help me out, right? Let's connect this bridge. I need a plank here, a plank there. You have this plank, you have an orange plank, you have a blue plank. Let's put them down so we can get across this bridge.
We need to be able to do that together. So after I completed City Team's program and they brought me on staff, I worked in the recovery ministry. I worked in the shelter. I did everything across the board. But I led the food service ministry particularly and had the chance to serve people 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and to meet a ton of people along the way. The one thing that broke my heart was I saw that our statistics of serving was going up, but my community was staying the same or getting worse.
Why?
Why is it that we're giving more food away, we're giving more backpacks, we're providing shelter, we're giving away stuff like
Christmas,
we have so much,
bikes, everything.
And it's
everything.
Great, and we should do that because it's the right thing to do.
But nothing's changing inside of the community.
But nothing changed. My community is getting worse. There's more murders and more drugs.
Right.
And I was broken.
Yeah.
And I felt God gave me like this holy discontent that there could be another way for us to reach.
Absolutely.
And I started to do some praying and reading and a little bit of research of organizations that were having an incredible impact. And I stumbled across this organization from the Bronx, where this young girl decided to move into the worst street in America on Beekman. The ministry is called House on Beekman. Right. And she was 20-something years old, an NYU graduate, and just decided that she could be part of a community and help to influence people by identifying what the neighborhood needed for them to survive. Right? Because one of the challenges that we have in our areas is we have a broken family structure.
Yes, we do.
And it's real. The famous philosopher Eminem said, how am I supposed to grow up when I wasn't raised?
I wasn't raised.
So to me, when I look back at the crisis and chaos that came out of my life, and I didn't have, and my drug addiction caused me to destroy my family, what I had of my family. I stole and I robbed and you hurt the people you love.
Definitely hurt the people you love.
People always want to say, oh, I only hurt myself. Man, you're hurting everybody that cares about you.
Everybody. I was there. I had my own drug addiction and I was robbing and stealing and doing things. And it wasn't until I went to jail, right? Like you said, when you say you were the freest you ever were with nothing yours and not being able to do anything.
No possessions,
nothing. Man, like I can do this when I get home. How do I continue this going on? So, I went to jail. I came home in 2008. And I promised myself when I was leaving out of that jail that I would never ever smoke again. I would never get high again. And I think for me it was just that little bit, right? Do I still drink? Absolutely, right? But I try to minimize that as much as I possibly can. But for me, at that point, that's when it all changed for me as well.
Yeah, I knew a lot of people that would say the same things, and you forget between the first fence and the second fence who you really were.
Right.
So, man, I'm glad God has you where you're at today.
Right. I appreciate it, man. I truly do, because without those things that we've gone through, right? That people minuscule and make minor. Oh, I played around with drugs, but you were addicted to something and it had you doing things differently than you ever done before. Now you have to change. Now you have to accept guidance from whoever, right? Me is Allah, right? It's the guidance from Him that allows, but it shouldn't matter what you call your God or how you call Him if you're being godly, if you're being humble and clean. Yeah. And that's one thing about the radio station, right? I don't care what God you worship, right? I don't, right? But because He created us. He spoke it in a different language. If it sounds better to you in that language, then let it sound good, right?
That's right.
Let it sound great. Just make sure you're giving that energy off. Like you said, it doesn't hurt a candle to light another candle. And we can finally see, because we're in the dark. We're in the dark in this city. The way we operate is blindly. We move around, we bump into everybody, we pushing everybody, and we don't know. Then when the lights kick on, it's like, oh man, that was you the whole time? Yeah, that was me. That was absolutely me.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, the project, right? The greenhouse project, how you came up with that, right? How it was inside of you the whole time for you to do this.
Yeah, so I'm kind of out of that experience of that holy discontent. I started to reach out and do some research and met an organization out of Chicago. We ended up at Skid Row in LA, just looking and trying to glean from some of the best ministries. And I just started to read a lot. Right. And it wasn't rocket science that the best people that made the biggest influences were the people that live side by side with you.
Absolutely.
So too many times, especially in our city of Chester, we have people come. I'm not blasting anybody that lives outside the city. No. God bless you. You do what you do. I felt for me, God was saying, I can't have the fullest impact unless I'm in proximity with my neighbors.
Unless you're living right next door to them.
Because it's not real unless I'm living it out.
You don't know what I'm going through. You don't know what I'm dealing with.
No, and it was like that. I lived on East 21st Street for a long time. So for me, my heart has always been here, and whatever I did had to be proximity to my home that my family lived out. The other thing is I realized is I can't change 35,000 people. Our city's huge. But maybe I could impact a 1 or 2 block radius around my house, right. And to me, the family thing we were talking about. So, listen, I give my life to Jesus. I'm a pastor. I'm serving in ministry for full time, but I still had this broken family structure in my life. Right. What happened was I go to some event and a husband and wife were speaking, and they said instead of single people coming to church looking for a boyfriend or girlfriend, they should look for a family to join. Ooh. What they were saying was, people on the fringe that don't have the bond of being in a bigger tribe or a bigger unit need to have that to grow and thrive and survive.
You need it.
To thrive, because in the family structure is where values are taught, and that's where education is forged, and all the building blocks for life are supposed to happen in our families. And a lot of us come from broken, jacked up families. Some people come from great families and made poor choices along the way. But what I heard this family said was, if you want to help change your thinking, because this is what I needed. If I needed to change my thinking, I needed to be in an environment where that thrived, and that was in a new family. Right. So after they were done, I literally walked up to them and said, "Can I join your family?" And they said, "Sure." And then they invited me for Memorial Day, and then I was there for Thanksgiving, and then I was there for Christmas, and then I'm the weird guy in their family photo.
Right.
But I found that over the years they adopted like 30 people into their family.
Wow.
People that were doing drugs or having challenges in their other families. And to me it made sense. What if we could help people on the fringe, people that were challenged or just struggling, saying, you know what, you have a family here. Mm-hmm. You can come and be with us, because that's what was modeled to me. Right. Through people visiting me in prison, somebody reaching out to me, through my mentors, through these families, people just brought me in, and I became part of it. But that's the first time I saw a husband and a wife operate under God. It's the first time I saw how they deal with family challenges. It was the first time I saw people say, let's make long-term choices together. Let me not look at today, but who am I going to be 5, 10, 15 years down the line? I'm not looking to catch a fish today. I'm looking, I want to create that well where we're going to have fish forever.
Right.
And to me, it all started out of that. So I'm passionate about Jesus, and we wanted to launch churches. And I knew if we had a smaller model, if we could meet out of our house, influence our community, and help support and champion the people that are already there, then we would do well. So greenhouses help things grow in difficult places. And Absolutely. It was all about metaphor of how can we help people grow. Right. But I'm not looking to stop at a one-time event. we want to do this for life.
Absolutely. And I could tell, right? I don't know if you buying the house next door, right? But it looks like you're cultivating a positive neighborhood, right? Cultivating mature positivity is the name of this radio station, right? Because I felt there was enough negative out there about the city, right? You watch the news, it's negative. You talk to someone outside of the city,
all day long,
it's negative. Everything is negative. And it's like, no, you don't know the city that I know. You don't know the people that live in this city that are positive, the people that want more. They don't get an opportunity because as soon as they say Chester, oh, no, you're negative.
Yeah.
Then they walk away from that person feeling like, well, shit, maybe I am negative.
Yo, it's hard to get a pizza delivered here.
Man, is it ever?
Seriously.
I delivered pizza in this city for about 2 years when I came home from jail. And that opened the door for me to understand that there are people that are dealing with traumas that go untalked about. Why do we not talk about it? Because we were taught, man, keep what goes on in this house in this house. Yep. I remember delivering a pizza to a family, and the little boy came to the door, and he had to be like 5 or 6 years old. I'm like, where your mom at? The pizza here. She's like, she went out. I said, what? She went out. And I said, here, take the pizza. You don't owe me no money. Put that money in your pocket. Save it. You know what I'm saying? Like you might. He's like, real. For real? You know, no, save it. And I paid for the pizza. So, you know, the things that are put in front of us, and I walked away and I'm like, man, man, let me go find his mom. But I'm not, you understand what I'm saying? Yo, you need to be home with your kids. But I don't know if uncle was in the house, somebody, but I just know that he said mom went out. For me, that was a deep moment when I sat there and said, man. Then I watched my friend get robbed. He got beat up. My other friend got shot. He almost died. And I said, I can't do this anymore. In January 1st of 2016, I wrote a long bio on Facebook, just shouting out all the people because I just joined Facebook, right? I'm coming into Facebook, but I'm noticing everybody in here, there are a lot of positive people. So I applauded them. I told them, y'all are keeping me going, right? In the land of negativity, seeing the positive things that y'all are doing, man, I got to talk about this. We need to talk about it. So that's where the radio station came from. It didn't come from,
brilliant.
Me wanting to do it or me going to school for it. It was like, yo, I'm going to get in there. I'm going to learn it. I'm going to understand it. And I'll be able to give it to people that I feel as though need it to get their message out.
I love it. The people that live in my community are doing great things. There's people that aspire to be YouTubers and people want to be better dads and they want to have careers and we get the chance to hear stories after story. And one week we're passionate about going, knocking on doors, praying for people and sharing. And I got an email from somebody that said, we've been living in this community for 20 some years and you guys showed up today to pray for us and you never knew us. And I didn't put it together until this past December. I was out front and somebody yelled, yo, is this Greenhouse Project on a Sunday? I'm like, yeah. They came in because they wanted to seek prayer. They wanted to seek God. They were crying. They had nowhere else to go. Wow. And she shared the story. And here, this was this woman that we ended up knocking on the door about a year and a half before. She just needed to come out because she just needed someone to care.
Right.
Like, why can't we just be there to help each other, to care for each other where they're at? And over the years, so we do a lot of drug and alcohol coaching and counseling with recovery houses inside the city of Chester. Mm-hmm. And I've had the privilege to at least sew into over 3,000 guys. And it wouldn't be uncommon to say 80% and higher of almost all the guys I meet with are sharing some type of emotional, physical, or sexual trauma they've been through.
Wow.
Listen, and I would say this, the other 19 are probably not being forthcoming.
Right.
And so we have a whole group of people that have been taught not to share our emotions or to share our feelings or to address the things that we've been through. Do not expose yourself.
Right? Right. Do not expose your weakness or the thing that troubles you the most. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. My mentor told me one time, he said, you know who sleeps the best at night? The one with no skeletons in their closet. The one that's completely free, that's able to share everything, open up their closet, clean it out, get all the junk out.
I think about Eminem.
Yeah, right? I'm cleaning out my closet.
But also from the movie 8 Mile, The Last Battle, he talked about everything that he could possibly talk about.
It's true.
He left the rapper that he was going up against with nothing to talk about. And at the end, the other rapper was like, I can't. He done said everything. Yeah, I live with my mom. Yeah, my homie shot himself in the leg. Yeah, this goes on. Yeah, she cheated on me. And he broke it down. He's like, yo, what are you?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you can remove a person's bullets in their gun just by being truthful to yourself. And a lot of people, they make it harder than what it has to be. They make it more difficult. And I salute you and everything that you're doing down there, because this is definitely a well-needed event.
Well, we need men to be raised to be men again.
Absolutely.
And I'm tired of seeing our youth go into prison. I don't want anybody to experience the things that we have.
Right.
Nobody on the face of the earth should be exposed to that, especially where we're at.
Right.
So we have the opportunity to say, listen, if somebody wants a better way of life, if they want to learn what it means to be a career-minded person, if somebody that wants to set goals, we can help get you a business mentor. We can help start a business. Listen, if you're on the streets and you're selling, we can help you turn, because you already understand marketing and distributing and finances, and you're already business-minded. We can help turn that into a legit business that you can provide for you and your family for the future.
Wow.
I'm talking about generational change.
Yes.
That's what God allowed in my life. And I want that for my kids and the generation. But not only that, I believe that God wants to have that for the city of Chester as well.
Absolutely.
We want to see strongholds broken and families raised up to transform other families. So, man, that's what we're about. And, if we can help in any way, we're ghproject.org. Look it up. Come hang out with us on Sundays at 2 o'clock. We cook, too. I'm a big guy. We got a smoker out back. We're getting it in.
So how has the neighborhood received you?
So I lived on East 21st Street for a while, and I knew a bunch of people on the block already.
Okay.
But we just feel like we're just part of the community.
Okay.
I don't think, it's a real question, because it's not like, hey, we showed up on the block to say, hey, we can change your life.
Right.
We just showed up to live here.
Right.
That was the purpose. We just showed up to live here, and we wanted to just love our neighbors.
Right.
But we've developed great bonds with people already. Shared meals, laughters, excitement, and then there's been trauma in our block. Man.
Absolutely.
There's been a few murders real close to us, but this is our home, and the people in our community look out for one another. Mm-hmm. They really do. If I ever travel, my neighbor's got my back watching my daughter, and my wife. But we really feel we got a tight bond in our community. And it's kind of weird, because sometimes when people come over to visit, they're like, where do you live?
Right.
Where do you want us to park? Right. And it's like, our neighbors got each other's back.
Right.
And I think when people really see other people wanting to champion and wanting to do things well, like community cleanups and how can we help champion people, those are the people you want to be around. So we're not there to provide stuff, man. God provides stuff. People help drop down supplies, but man, we love being neighbors to our neighbors. We really feel like we've developed family here. And
that's where it's at, family, right? Finding family, no matter what your skin color is, no matter where you came from, finding people that understand the struggle of life. I think is very commendable, man. So I definitely, whatever CMP can do to help you out, man, if it's you coming up here doing the show or bringing some people through so they can learn how to do all this stuff, I don't mind sharing my knowledge. The little bit of knowledge is very minute, what I do have, because I'm still learning it. But, however that works, man, I don't have a problem with that, because what you're doing right now is highly infectious. But people need to know about it. People need to see about it. Right, so I commend you on this, and whatever you need from me, man, you got it.
Thanks, man. I love being part of this. This is an amazing setup and a great place, and I've been following you for a minute. I love that you're giving people a voice that are able to make a change. That they have the mind to do it, and they're able to connect with other people. And the issues you guys talk about here are real life issues.
Yes, they are.
It's what's actually happening on our streets and in our schools and in the prison systems and organizations. So I think if I could paint a picture for 2021 is this is the year we actually put the rubber to the road and actually do the things that we want to do.
Absolutely.
And in that, we want to be a part of what you guys are doing and support the other great people. So if there's anything we can do to help out, please let us know. We're part of this. Our commitment is for life.
Yes. And I think it's awesome. Again, I'm gonna keep giving you your flowers, man. While you can smell them and you can use them. Is there anybody out there that you would consider partnering with or showing how to do this? If someone came up to you and said, I want to buy a house on the west side and do the same thing you're doing now.
We're ready right now. We're a planting organization,
okay.
and we want to see multiple ones of these pop up all over the place.
Right.
And the bigger vision we had in the beginning was we wanted to see 5 in the city of Chester, then move to Wilmington, and Kensington, kind of hit the areas in Camden where I used to do my
dirt.
I want to go back to those same spots.
Right.
We're able to train leaders. We want to raise up people and help them do that. We're able to do that right away. We had somebody reach out and say, hey, we might be able to donate a house on the west side if you wanted to do this. And so we're able to do that. We want to raise up leaders. We want to help give people the tools to take this bigger idea of family and really get back into the community.
Absolutely.
So that's a real big thing to my heart.
It is. Now your house was that a condemned house and you guys fixed it up?
Yo, man, this place was destroyed.
Right.
So I knew God gave me this dream of this 3-story red brick house. And I don't know if anybody's ever looked for a house recently, but everybody and their sister sends you Zillow ads to look at. And we couldn't find it. And the first date I had with my wife, we met at Starbucks in Brookhaven, and somehow God pressed in my heart East 23rd Street. She came and said, I think we should go to East 23rd Street. And I was like, no way. When we were driving down the street, we'd made a left on the East 23rd. I said, I'm looking for a 3-story red brick house. She says, as long as it has a red door. We stopped at the stop sign and looked to the left, and there was a 3-story red brick house with a red door. So we weren't able to get that one. We were able to get the one next door. And it was practically condemned. I don't know if you remember seeing pictures of it, but it was destroyed on the inside. There was no kitchen, knob and tube, all the heat stuff was ripped out.
All the piping, everything gone. It was stripped.
Everything was gone.
Right.
A guy tried to fix it up, and I think somebody came and robbed it in the middle of the night.
And took everything.
Took everything. Right. So it was literally condemned, and it took us about a year through volunteers to be able to put everything back together again, one little step at a time.
Right.
And our neighbors helped out, and there's a recovery house 2 houses down. Some of those guys helped out. We had contractors and businessmen and volunteers just come and offer a little bit of time.
Right.
Yeah, so that's our model, man. I can't take credit for any of this. I got to be honest. I'm the stupidest person I know.
No, you're definitely not the stupidest person.
Well, no. It's because God has brought great people around me,
right?
And I can give all the glory back to God and to the people that He brought around me. My passion is I just want to be with people, man.
Right.
I want to hang out with people, and I want to hear people's stories. I want to share my story.
Absolutely.
And then I want to help people collaborate on transformation. So we got a great place to work out of. Because we get to work out of our house.
Absolutely.
And I get to be with my family. And my son just turned 14 months old. And,
wow.
He's a little cutie. But it's real today. It's real. I feel like the stuff we're working on is going to have a generational impact.
You say you have a 14-month-old son. What's that like?
So my daughter's 15.
Right.
My wife's 10 years younger than me, and I'm going to turn 45 this year.
Wow.
46. It's rough, man.
It is. I'm 41.
It's rough, but when I'm able to see the world today versus how I did it 15 years ago when my daughter was born. My daughter was born when I was still in addiction. Her mom died from a drug overdose.
Wow.
So when I look at life through my boy's eyes now, it changes everything. It really does, to see how young and tender and how gentle these little people are, and how lovable they are. Like, it melts your heart, man.
Absolutely.
To hold my little guy and want to snuggle with him and say, no, I want to give him the opportunity to be raised well, and not only that, hopefully he'll make an impact in his community as well.
Absolutely.
So to me, it means everything to be a family guy. When back in the day, all I wanted to do was be out on the streets.
Right.
But geez, holding that little one in your hands, breaks your heart. Absolutely does. Do you have kids?
Yes, I do. I have 7. 7, yes.
Good Lord.
Just had my my 7th kid, Jordan. I love children, right? And maybe I love them too much, right? I keep making them. But my grandfather, right, has 9 children.
Wow.
You're me. You're the second. You're me. Your father. It's okay. It's okay. God's going to make a way for you to, feed your kids. You're going to be able to do all this, but do what comes to you naturally. Yeah. Don't force it, right? And for me, I often think of what my life would be like with just 3, right? And I probably wouldn't be doing this. You know what I'm saying? I probably wouldn't. This came to me out of frustration of having children outside of my marriage and cheating and still playing around, because I could say I was fixed when I came home from jail, but I wasn't all the way fixed, right? Yeah. I was still playing around. I was still doing things. And it wasn't until, the twins were born and I came home and I went back to the wife and I told her, I said, no, I love you. And she was like, okay, well, we can work. And, she was sketchy, right? But I think I had to go through that. I had to go through that rejection. I had to go through, you don't want me. And then I had to go outside. Then I played around outside. Then I got suicidal, right? And I started popping Percocets all crazy. And it wasn't until, the station came about and it was real that I understood this is what was calling me.
Wow.
Right? All these years, this platform, these conversations, these moments, these seconds were calling my name, and I didn't hear it because I was too concerned with doing other things or running around and playing around and in the bars. And so since I started the radio station, I don't really go to the bars anymore. I don't really hang out too often. I'm too busy trying to build this up because this was nothing.
Well, you got purpose and vision now. You have purpose. You add value.
Yeah, passion drives purpose. I truly believe that, right? And now but is it valuable to everybody else, right? And then you learn, right? Friends come and friends go, and you got to let them go, right? Yeah. They're like leaves, like they're here. It
hurts, but you got
a reason or a season, right? So for me, it's hard. It's hard dealing with people walking out or people telling you no, they don't want to, and I get it. It's okay. But as long as my children love me, you can ask. My oldest is 18. She's graduating high school this year. She's been accepted into 7 colleges.
Wow. Congratulations.
Right? She has a choice as to where she's going. I would prefer to go to a HBCU, right? I would prefer to stay close and keep things moving that way. But if she chooses not to, then I give her, all my love and everything that I've shown her. The grit, the determination to be successful, it's in us. Right? You just can't let everything else get in your way. The drugs, the love, the like, the wanting to be around your friends, that gets in your way and it blocks your vision. And it has you bumping into things that really aren't even there. And for me, I try to tell her all the time, I was never a perfect man, right? I never attempted to be a perfect man. But for you, I can show you what an imperfect man can do. Right, with my grit, my determination, the things that I can accomplish, I'm gonna show you, and I promised her, and I'm gonna show you exactly. So right now, I'm a 2-time felon. I work for the DA's office, right, in the Human Services office, to give opportunities to young men that are so entrenched in the life that they don't know that there's another life out here.
Wow, it's real.
So I truly believe that we could work together and we could hit some people where we could talk to those men, because most of them are entrenched in a drug atmosphere where drugs rule their life, but they don't know any better because mom and dad did it, cousin did it, uncle did it, whoever. They played around with it so long to the point where the child is now, oh man, this is all I got. What you expect me to do? It's like a story my grandfather used to tell me. I used to come home from school and he asked me if I did my homework. I was like, yeah, I did my homework, and I didn't really do it. And my dad would say that I did my homework. I was like, no, I'm about to do it right now. He said, your grandfather said you did it. Nah, you lied. And he would beat my ass, right? He would literally beat me. And then I had to go tell my grandfather I'm sorry for lying. And my grandfather told me, he was like, you lie to me because I can't beat you, right? But your father can. So you try to tell him the truth. It's not always what you do that can come back and haunt you. It's what you don't do.
That's
so
true.
For me, it's like, all right, I need to make sure this path that I'm sowing, and I have 7 kids, right? Taylor, Pilar, JP, Zaria, Journey, and Janai and Jordan, right? They got J's at the end, but they are my life. Like, and to see them the way they look at me when they come here to the radio station and how they like to do it. I'm trying to do a show with them now, but it's amazing to see them and how they love me for who I am. And I don't have a whole bunch of money, right? But the things that I'm doing are priceless. Absolutely priceless.
And being able to spend time with them along with the process is priceless as well.
It is. And it gets to be sketchy with me with the station and trying to be here and trying to be there. And I'm a one-man band. Yeah, I have a couple people that help me out, but majority, if you see the radio station moving, I'm moving it, right? So it's like, man, you always here, you always over here, you always doing that. And it's absolutely hard, but I will continue to move.
They say anything worthwhile is uphill.
It is.
Everything worthwhile. A lot of us have downward motivations,
right.
Downward habits, but it's upward. We need to really push,
and it's a hard climb to get up that mountain if you don't have the right support system.
Yeah,
if you don't have people that believe in what you're saying and what you're doing. So I had to think about that. Maybe I'm not doing the right things. Maybe I'm not doing them the way they should be done. So I had to and 2020 taught me a lot too, right, about loyalty. Right, and how people perceive what they perceive and have the perception that they have. They don't talk to you about it. So communication became key to me. Let's communicate. Talk to me. What am I doing that's not right? Tell me. And I'm going to go back and fix it. But I also have to work on the radio station. I can't do everything you want me to do. So, I support whatever you got going on, man. Any way I can help you out, man, let me know. There are tons of people in the city that need to understand just because they have an addiction problem, just because. Now, what do you call a person that's addicted to something? So we call young men that are coming home from jail, returning citizens, right? What do you call a person that just battled an addiction problem? I don't want to call them an addict.
Well,
right?
there's a debate if somebody's still using, and then they're in addiction, right? They're in the process of addiction or like some type of stronghold over their life.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you a story, and this is our mindset and our philosophy for ministry. So I had the privilege to work with people coming off the streets since I came out of prison, and my mind got changed. I was at an event at Skid Row, and we were going to serve Skid Row. If anybody hasn't seen Skid Row, please look up. You can see all the videos. It's people literally living on top of each other outside.
That's crazy.
In tents for years and years and years in an area of LA that was a business area once. And so we go out there and we're getting ready to do this outreach. And this young man gets up on the table and he goes, all right, we're getting ready to gear up and we're going out to serve the community. I want to let everybody know if you came here to see junkies and prostitutes and drug addicts, you're not going to see any of those people tonight.
Right.
We're going out to see people made in the image of God.
Wow.
We're going out to serve and to love people and just to offer a ticket. If they want to get out, we can pull them out today.
Wow.
So my job is to see people made in the image of God. And this is why when I was at City Team, we stopped using the term of we're serving the homeless. We're saying, no, we're serving our guests.
Right.
This is our privilege to be able to bring people in to our home, and they are our guests for the evening. Because when I value someone like that, it says, no, I care about you enough to say, I'm going to treat you just the same way I would if we were going to a 5-star restaurant.
Right.
And to me, that's a mindset that changes people's point of view. It's saying, I change how I see about you.
Right. So you should change how you feel about yourself.
Well, it's the beginning. It says, no, you have value. I believe everybody has God's image stamped upon them. They have value right in that, and we can recognize that in one another. So when I was on the streets, one of the worst things that ever happened to me, minus the physical stuff, was that people wouldn't look me in the eye anymore. You're on the streets, you might be out there begging for money, doing whatever you have to do. Nobody will look you in the eye anymore, because if you look someone in the eye, then you're committed. You have to have a conversation with them.
Absolutely.
People would just step over and discount me as I wasn't a human anymore. The best thing I found is I'll just sit down on the street with someone and have a real conversation. I don't have to give them anything. I can just treat them like I would a normal human being and have a real conversation and just care. Why can't we just care for a few minutes and listen and hear and try to feel what somebody else has been through? I can't identify with anything if I can't do those basic things.
Right.
In that, we get to view people who they really are, people in the image of God.
Wow.
And they have value. And just think about that. What happens to one seed when it falls? It can produce a tree that produces thousands of fruit, which produces millions of seed, and next thing you know, populates a planet.
Right.
So I think valuing people is one of the most important things we can do.
Well, my grandma used to say, right, you treat the janitor just as good as you treat the CEO, and understand that your life will flourish only if you see the possibilities in it.
There you go.
Right. Yeah, my grandma used to say a lot of wise things, man. But I definitely want to thank you for stopping through, man. Listen, I hope this isn't going to be the last time we see you up here at cmpradio.net. And listen, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, right? So plug where they can find your business, plug where they can find Greenhouse Project, everything.
Yeah, ghproject.org. Just go to our website. You can find all about our information and our events. There's tabs to our Facebook and our Instagram there. We do church out of our house, 42 East 23rd Street, every Sunday at 2 p.m. Please come over, visit with us. We eat, and then we teach, and we get into worship. So we'd love for you guys to be our guest. That's it.
Absolutely. Listen, man, it's your boy, Uncle P, man. I want to thank our guest, John Clifford, for stopping through from the Greenhouse Project. It's important that we come together. It's important that we share together. It's important that we love together, right? We have to stop looking for our differences when we're absolutely not different at all. Absolutely not different at all. We breathe the same air. We drink the same water. Nobody's flying above and snapping their fingers and put their pants on. And if you are, then you're a superhero, and we still need you. We still need you. So, but make sure you check out Greenhouse Project. Make sure you go up there on 23rd Street. If you have any donations or anything like that, man, make sure you reach out to John Clifford, man. If you need help with substance abuse, please talk to somebody. Come up here to cmpradio.net. Go over there to Greenhouse Project. Listen, there's no reason for you to stay stuck in your space. No reason, man. cmpradio.net, man. It's your boy, Uncle P, man. I'm telling y'all, have a wonderful day. I love y'all. Peace. Be safe.